Hi, in today's video, let us talk about academic success in school, and I would like to share some of my experiences and insights. Let me first talk about some of my past academic credentials and experiences of how I did well in school. For O-levels, I was one of the last in class in secondary 1 at Victoria School. Fortunately, my turnaround came in secondary 2 where I suddenly made vast improvements across all subjects. And by secondary 3, I was the top in class. By secondary 4, I was one of the top in school. I then went to Raffles Junior College in 2006. Unfortunately there, I suffered severe social and psychological difficulties. But eventually, under immense pressure, fortunately I still managed to push through and got decent results at A-levels and even received a scholarship. So, what was my secret? Unlike the beliefs of some of my peers that I'm extremely hardworking, or lucky, or that I'm a closet geek, I'm actually none of those. My secret was I studied strategically and studied smart. The important key is having understanding over memorization and blind practice. The realization struck me when I was in secondary 2, when I observed my usual learning habits were going nowhere. The truth is, I have to learn deeply and think deeply about subjects being taught, even at a philosophical level. So instead of practicing vast amount of questions, I spent a lot of time thinking and ruminating over every single question, well done or not so well done. In addition, I made sure of the homework and assignments submitted were extremely done well. I will never guess my answers, and when I'm uncertain about the question or my work, I will be proactive and approach the teacher to clarify my queries. In this approach, I hardly practice any assessment books or questions outside the school's materials, nor did I have tuition. This learning philosophy guided me to top grades and other areas of my life. This is also the approach I take when teaching students at the classroom. My vision is that any student under my guidance has the potential not just to achieve A, but also to achieve high A in examinations. I believe this is possible because some of the students I taught include a failing student who suddenly got one of the top score in a class test for additional math. Another A-level physics student also improved from E before I taught him to borderline A during a major examination. And the examples I quoted refers to the first examination after I taught the student. Now, having good results is one thing, but learning deeply is another. So I'm also proud that I teach my students learning from first principles, a derivation-based approach in physics and math I discovered, where I make the student understand how the concept comes about rather than blindly applying them. Nowadays, we often hear that the word critical thinking, especially pushed by the education ministry, and this refers to critically computing or applying what has been learned. But if that's the only educational goal, then in the age of AI, a reasoning GPT model will be an equally good student. So in my opinion, I think that what essentially separates us from AI is our potential to learn and appreciate deeply, and to think on a philosophical level the subjects learn. And that is what my first principles approach aims to achieve. And that is why I believe my students at the classroom have a critical edge over others. So there's 5 minutes for today. If you have any questions regarding academic success and learning, do comment below. And remember to check out my other videos. Bye!